Sometimes when playing a game, you want to play a game that'll make you think. You know, something that triggers the old brain cells, like Tetris. That's a good one. A game where you have to constantly arrange these blocks in the specific patterns in order to make them disappear from the screen before they all pile up to the top of the screen, ending your game. And then you have other times where you just want to hop in the giant mech and blow shit up. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be reviewing the game as we play the game. So we're going to start out here with all of the companies that are responsible for making it. The MechWarrior game on the SNES is actually a version of BattleTech. It started out as a board game. It has a whole universe of stuff behind it. And this game was actually my intro door into going in it. I had heard of MechWarrior 2 for PCs, but I didn't have a computer that was powerful enough to play it. And then I came across this gem in the rental store. So, of course, I had to check it out real quick. This opening cinema just gives you a basic idea of the game. Giant walking robotic mechs powered by people inside of them, walking across fighting their wars. It's pretty well it. And, of course, there's a basic storyline of the game. It's more or less a revenge storyline. This guy's wanting to take this guy out for killing his family. And this screen that you're looking at here is more or less the hub screen, where you can get all the info from the game. We're going into the diner now, which gives all the backstory of the game. This guy here is kind of like a helping hand throughout the game, gives you some small tips here and there. And sometimes they're good to go by, sometimes they're not. It all just depends. Now, one really cool thing about this that we're going to get into here into a second is that you can customize your mech armor. You can customize it however you want. Now, here in the diner, we're going to get some more info real quick. All this is more or less a backstory. If you're new to the game, it's got a decent backstory to it. I recommend going ahead and checking it out, but the real reason why we're here is obviously to blow shit up. So now we're going to go into GHQ. This is a place where we can go into all of our missions. Now, this is really interesting. Oh, you can also save your game here, by the way. Whenever you go into your missions, you can actually choose where you want to go next, and it'll give you a basic idea of what planet it's on and the type of contract it is. Are you going to go assault someone? Are you defending a base? And also, you can get more information by, of course, clicking the info button. You go to the money button, and you can actually negotiate your fee for the mission. If you go too high, you'll actually insult the people that do it, although they may make you an offer a little bit higher than what originally it was. If they do, take it, because if you try to get more, they'll try to screw you over. The mech icon is where you can customize your mech. Now, you start out with something kind of small, light, not weak, but really light. I prefer not to have jump jets in my mech. I think they're a waste of weight. I usually sell them off, and I'll start purchasing weapons. Of course, I'm getting rid of some weapons I feel are worthless anyway. Now, we're going to start purchasing weapons I think are worth it. And there's all kinds of stuff you can pick up. The laser size is more or less the laser range, with the longest range being the particle cannon. Heat sinks more or less keep the heat of your mech down whenever you're firing laser-based weapons. All laser-based weapons in the game generate heat. You can purchase missiles, which don't generate nearly as much heat, which will help you out a little bit. And, of course, with missiles, you also have short-range, mid-range, long-range, and finally homing missiles. Then we're going to enjoy some Mode 7 while we finally start up a mission. This is just a basic destroy enemy mechs. You can see on the bottom left hand of the screen, you've got a basic radar. Beside it is a status of your mech, including your heat indicator and damage. Next to that is your weapons, and on the far right, the status of your target. The rest of the view of the screen is an internal view of the cockpit of your mech. Now, as you can see here, I'm doing the hit-and-run based tactic. We're doing the laser just to slowly whittle down the opponents, and then using the current engines that we have to outrun them. An interesting part of this game, you can also increase the engines of your mech. The higher powered engine you have, the faster you'll go. But a lot of this is also based off of the weight of the mech that you have at the time. Depending on the weight also depends on what kind of speed you have. Everything is kind of hit and miss as to what you do. Every change you make to your mech kind of determines, you know, everything. Such as speed. It's so hard to explain just talking about it, but more or less, adding heat sinks adds weight. Adding weapons adds weight. The bigger the engine, technically it should make you faster, but the engine will also add weight. And on the lighter mechs, you'll get to the point to where increasing engine size will actually slow down your mech more than anything else. And of course, yay, we're victorious. It tells you the commission paid. Tells you how many mechs you've destroyed. And then you can move on to your next mission. Now, after every mission, you can go into a diner and you can get all kinds of new information. You have to have a successful mission in order to get really good and far into the game. The game will let you continue if you have an unsuccessful mission. However, you usually end up pissing someone off. It changes the storyline arc a little bit. And it's always best to win your missions, especially due to the fact that you can only lose so many missions. After you lose so many, you're dead, game over, you failed in your quest for vengeance. Now moving on, we've got some more money to work with, so we can jump in the shop here. Checking our mech, see if it needs repaired, which it didn't, so we'll go looking for another contract. And save our game while we're at it, just in case. Increase the value of the contract, look at what we're getting into. Like in the planetary data too, it'll tell you the types of planet you fight on. Now the type of planet is also very important to how you set up your mech. If it's an ice planet, you don't have to worry nearly as much about overheating. If it's a heat or lava based planet, you have to worry a significant amount about overheating. All this plays into how you should do your mech loadout whenever you get everything set up. So now we're ready to go. We're going to go back into our Mode 7 view to go down onto our planet. Now, some of these items also on the screen, whenever you zoom in, give you a hint as to what's coming up. There can be landmines that the enemy will place in. If the landmine you step on it, you will actually blow a leg off your mech. Now, your mech actually has multiple sections on it that can be damaged and blown off completely. If you lose a leg, you can no longer maneuver unless you use jump jets. You can kind of maneuver in the air. However, keep in mind that jump jets add a lot of weight and aren't very fast. If you lose your second leg, of course you're going to blow up. If your mech has arms, your weapons will be mounted on the arms of the mech. However, you can actually have an arm blown off. And if the arm blows off, then you lose that particular weapon that was attached to that arm. So overall, I'm a huge fan of the SNES MechWarrior game. I thought they did a great job, especially considering the limitations of the system. There's multiple mechs to choose from, multiple weapons to choose from, and like I said earlier, the layout makes it incredibly deep. So this is one of those games to where while you do have to think, just like Tetris, you have to plan ahead and figure out what items and what equipment you want your mech to have before you go into battle. It also gives you the benefit of being to blow shit up, which, let's face it, we all enjoy blowing shit up, right? So, if you haven't heard of this game, I highly recommend it. I think it's a million times better than the more popular sequel that came out in the MechWarrior series, MechWarrior 3050, on the Super Nintendo. I think it was just called BattleTech on the Sega Genesis, but I think that this game blows that one out of the water. That one had an isometric viewpoint, and you only controlled one mech. You didn't have a selection. There were some customizable options, but nothing like what you see in this game. And finally, the story was actually better in this game than the other one. So, to me, this is a underrated, overlooked classic. I couldn't find but maybe one review of this game on YouTube whenever I started looking around for it. So be sure to check out MechWarrior. It's an awesome game. I highly recommend it. So hit stop in this video, Go out, find a copy on eBay or on Game Gavel, or if you have to emulate it, try it out. Till then, we will see you next time.